Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. عظم الله لكم الأجر. We just had Rasuallah Muhammad. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر صدق الله العلي العظيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As you guys probably know, according to what marja you follow, yesterday was the death of Rasulullah Muhammad. So inshallah, today we will be talking about Rasulullah Muhammad. Rasulullah was born on 12th Rabi' al-Awwal in 570 AD. His father was Abdullah and his mother was Amina bint Wahab. His father, Abdullah, before Rasulullah Muhammad was even born, his father died. So he grew up without a father. At the age of 6, his mother also died. At the age of 6, he now became an orphan. When he was an orphan, his grandfather, Abdul Muttalib, was his guardian, his legal guardian. Abdul Muttalib was his guardian till the age of 8. After the age of 8, his uncle, Abu Talib, the father of Imam Ali alayhi salam, became his guardian. And when he was with Abu Talib, he needed to help Abu Talib work. He was not like any other kid that would just play around. He was helping Abu Talib. Abu Talib was responsible for the animals. He would work in a flock pretty much. So he would help him, and sometimes they would go 3 months walking through a desert. Most of the time it was a very hot weather, so it was very hard on Rasulullah. And at the age about 8 years later, so around 16, 17 years old, the work got harder. Abu Talib couldn't produce as much money as he usually would, so Rasulullah Muhammad would have to start working even more. He would have to put in more hours. He would have to produce more food. He would have to help the animals more, because if the animals didn't produce food, they would go out of business. So at the age of around 25, he traveled to Syria. And don't get me wrong, those other 25 years, he was getting stronger. He was learning manlyhood, pretty much. So at the age of 25, he went to Syria. And when he went to Syria, there was a woman by the name of Khadija ibn Khuwaylid. And she was a very rich businesswoman, and everybody wanted to marry her. But when somebody would ask her, "Oh, would you want to marry me?" she would say, "No, I don't want to marry you. I already had 2 husbands before you, and they both died through war. So I don't want to have to face that hardship anymore. I don't want to have a husband and then he dies." So she said no. Rasulullah would constantly be making trips with his caravan, like back and forth. He'd be delivering stuff and coming back. Sayyidah Khadija would send somebody with Nabi Muhammad. She would always send somebody with Nabi Muhammad. And every time they'd come back, she'd ask, how was he? Was he good? She wanted to see Prophet Muhammad's personality, because in front of her, he was very nice. She wanted to see if it was only in front of her, or was it in front of everybody? Like if he was just fake personality, just so they can become married. The person that was with Rasulullah said, "I've never seen anybody like him. Usually the other person that do the delivery for the caravan, they hit me, they yell at me. Him, no. He tells me nicely, can you help? He doesn't hit me, he doesn't yell at me. He's special." So it happened for about a month. They would consistently be going back and forth with the caravans back and forth. And usually the man would ask for the lady's hand, like, "Oh, I want to marry you." Sayyidah Khadija asked Rasulullah Muhammad if they want to get married, and then they got married. Eventually they got married. At around the age of 37, from 25 to 37, he was still getting stronger. He was still working. At around the age of 37, he was already with Imam Ali alayhi salam, but around the age of 37, he was now starting to, feel very pure. He was already very pure. People used to call him as-Sadiq al-Amin, the one who never lies and the one who never steals. He's very trustworthy. So people only think Rasulallah, they only called him as-Sadiq al-Amin because he was a prophet. Even before he was a prophet, he was called that. He was very trustworthy. He would never lie. He would never steal. At around the age of 40, there was a lot of bad things happening in Medina. There was a lot of bad things happening in Mecca. So Rasulullah, when those stuff used to happen, he used to depart. He didn't want to be there. So he had a special spot, the cave of Hira. The cave of Hira. He used to just like it there because it was very quiet. Sometimes he would take Imam Ali alayhi salam with him to the cave of Hira. That time when he went to the cave of Hira, it felt different that time. He then saw a light coming from the top of the cave, and he never met this person. It was the angel Jibra'il. And Angel Jibra'il alayhi salam was just like a brother to Rasulullah Muhammad. He said, Iqra, read. Rasulullah Muhammad said, I don't know how to read. How am I supposed to read? He said, Iqra. He said, I don't know how to read. He said, Iqra bismi rabbika allazi khalaq. Read, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help you. So eventually, Rasulullah Muhammad learned how to read right there. Just from those very, very strong words of God, saying, Iqra bismi rabbika allazi khalaq, he learned how to read right away. Right away, he learned how to read. After that, Jibra'il let him know that you are the last prophet of God. You are the last Nabi. When Rasulullah heard this, he knew he was going to have a big responsibility on him. And he asked, what am I supposed to do? He said, every once in a while, you're going to receive revelations and you got to let the people know about them. Now, he would let the people know, and Imam Ali alayhi salam would expand upon what Rasulullah Muhammad did. So quickly after Jibra'il left, Rasulullah quickly went to the house of his wife, their house, Sayyidah Khadija. He quickly went to her and he said, I was just informed by an angel that I am the last prophet of God. He said, oh my God, this is just like the other prophet stories. There was a lot of narrations stating about the other prophet stories and nobody believed them. Of course, Sayyidah Khadija, knowing that she's known Rasulullah Muhammad so far for almost 17 years, she knew he wasn't lying. After 17 years, he's going to come with a story and he's going to try lying about it. She knew he wasn't lying. So she trusted him, and she was the first to inherit Islam. She was the first woman to inherit Islam. After that, they called Imam Ali alayhi salam. They told Imam Ali alayhi salam, and Imam Ali alayhi salam also, he inherited Islam. Now, according to some narrations, not Shia narrations, there's Sunni narrations, they say that Abu Bakr was before Imam Ali alayhi salam to inherit Islam. I just want to let you guys know that if you guys do hear any of their narrations, they are not true. Imam Ali and Sayyidah Khadija were the first to inherit Islam. So at the age of 40, like I said, in Medina, in Mecca, it was a very crazy place. There was no law, there was no order around in Mecca. So people would do anything they wanted. So Rasulullah knew that if I straight up just go and I tell people about Islam, they're going to kill me right away. Because the people have never known a religion other than maybe Masihiyya. There was some Christians, there was some Jews, but none of them have ever knew what Islam was. So if Rasulullah right away went and told them, I was just informed I'm the last messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he told me to tell you guys about Islam, they would quickly kill him. So that's not the approach he took. He went and he saw very, very few pure people. He told them about it. Every little while he would tell somebody, add somebody to the group. And then about the age of 43, he let people know I'm the Prophet of God. It was public. Rasulullah is now the Prophet of God. As-Sadiq al-Amin is now the Prophet of God, the last Prophet of God. He went about for 8-9 years till about the age of 52. And then Bani Umayyah, the government, everybody, they saw how much people Rasulullah was acquiring. Through the message he's spreading, they saw how much people he was acquiring. And they were willing to kill Rasulullah. When Rasulullah heard about this, he was willing to leave Mecca to go travel to Medina right away. But how can he do that? They had all of Mecca barricaded. Nobody can leave and nobody can enter. So what did Rasulullah do? This is how you know that Imam Ali alayhi salam put Rasulullah's life in front of his own life. He said, Ya Ali, the only way I am able to leave Mecca is if you pretty much play bait and you sleep in my bed. Imam Ali, without two breaths, without a doubt, he quickly said, okay. He went and slept in Rasulullah's bed. Rasulullah went to Medina safely. After about 3 days, Imam Ali and the Fatimiyyat, they went also to Medina. And the good companions of Rasulullah. Now people ask, why don't you just say Sayyidah Fatima? Why Imam Ali and the Fatimiyyat? There's a lot of sources that state that there wasn't only Sayyidah Fatima that was named Fatima. There was a lot of people that were named Fatima that went with Imam Ali. So they just call him Fatimiyyat right away. They just call him like that. And around that time as well, before Rasulullah went, Sayyidah Fatima, he also had Sayyidah Fatima. Before he had a lot of children, but they were all miscarriages. Some sources state Sayyidah Khadija had 7 miscarriages and she only had 1 successful child, and which was Sayyidah Fatima. And right when Sayyidah Fatima was born, the verses for Surah Al-Kawthar came down. Inna a'taynaka al-Kawthar fasalli li rabbika wanhar inna shaniyaka huwa al-abtar. Inna a'taynaka al-Kawthar, we gave you Fatima. Fatima is the Kawthar. So they went to Medina. And during Medina, there was a lot of wars. The Battle of Khaybar, Battle of Uhud. There was a lot of wars. The Battle of the Trench. Now people think Rasulullah was the one person that would send out Ali, send out Hamza, send out Abu Talib, and tell him go fight. Rasulullah he used to go to war. People think he would just hide behind a tree waiting for the war to finish. No, Rasulullah Muhammad was very strong until he reached a very old age, the age of 60. That's when he wasn't as interactive in war. He would still go to war though. Now, for some of these wars, things went very bad. Let's go, for example, Battle of Uhud. Battle of Uhud, on the mountain of Uhud, was Imam Ali and the companions with Rasulullah Muhammad. They beat the enemy, and there's people on the top of the mountain. Rasulullah says, don't leave the top of the mountain until I tell you guys. And after they beat the enemies, they don't know that there's more left. The people up there don't know. They see the spoils of war, and they quickly run to them. They pick the dunya over the akhirah. They quickly run to the spoils of war. And what happens? The other people for the enemy, they go around and they come up the mountain. And now you got the companions and the army of Rasulullah, and at the top, who is it? It's the enemy again. What happens? Over 300 people flee the battlefield. Flee the battlefield. There's a few companions. Imam Ali, Hamza was killed in the Battle of Uhud. And they say that his intestines were eaten because he killed the husband of a woman in war, and she killed him. She grabbed a stick and she was digging up his intestines and eating them. There's a lot of narrations that state that Rasulullah didn't let that woman eat them because that means a piece of Hamza's body would go to hell and they would burn. So he made it uneatable, unchewable. So now it was only Imam Ali and a few companions that have to defend Rasulullah Muhammad. Now don't get me wrong, Imam Ali alayhi could take them all. Asadullah, he could take them all. He was fighting. Eventually his sword breaks. We got a problem, his sword breaks. How is he going to fight? How is he going to fight if he has a broken sword? How can Imam Ali alayhi fight if he has a broken sword? Rasulullah Muhammad gives him the sword of the Prophet, the Zulfiqar. That sword is not given only if you're a prophet, you get that sword. He gives it to Imam Ali alayhi salam, and Imam Ali alayhi salam, there's a lot of narrations that state that he took over 99 wounds and he would constantly be getting healed by the angels. They would pick it up and they would heal it. He took 99 wounds. And just to let you guys know, one of the most hated acts by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is fleeing the battlefield. Mostly when Rasulullah Muhammad was on the battlefield, one of the most hated things is fleeing the battlefield. And Rasulullah Muhammad, he got hurt a lot. At around the age of 63, there are a lot of narrations that state that Rasulullah Muhammad was poisoned and he caught an illness. When he caught an illness, it was nighttime and he was on his couch. He was resting. He was resting because he was poisoned. He was very sick. Now, just to say this, people think that Rasulullah Muhammad was not poisoned. They'll be like, oh, astaghfirullah, why would anybody poison Rasulullah? Just to let you guys know, all the Imams were killed or poisoned. So if all 11 Imams except Imam Hujra, Allah Ta'ala Faraja, wasn't poisoned. There's only one Imam that wasn't poisoned. The rest 11 were poisoned or killed. What's going to stop them from killing Rasulullah, poisoning Rasulullah? What's going to stop them? And the 123,999 prophets before Rasulullah, they were either killed or the same thing, poisoned, except a few. So what's going to stop them at the last prophet? Nothing's going to stop them. He was poisoned to the point where he was 63 years old. It was nighttime, and somebody knocked on the door of the house of Rasulullah. Somebody knocked on the door, and Sayyidah Fatima answered the door. Sayyidah Fatima answered the door, and that person, he said, I want to speak with Rasulullah Muhammad. I want to speak with him. Sayyidah Fatima said, you can't speak with him right now. He said, why? Because he's very ill right now and he's sick. He might have been poisoned. When the Rasulullah heard this, the person left, and a few minutes later he comes back. He comes back and says the same thing. So I need to speak with Rasulullah Muhammad. I need to speak with him. It's very important. When Rasulullah hears the person again, he says, Ya Fatima, that's Malik al-Maut. Let him into the house. Sayyidah Fatima was surprised. Malik al-Maut, why is he coming to the house of Rasulullah? What's he doing in the house of Rasulullah? He tells him, Ya Muhammad, are you ready to come to the afterlife? He says, what do you mean? I thought you just take people's life without them knowing. He says, yeah, everybody except for you. I'm not going to take your life unless you're ready to come. That's how special Rasulullah Muhammad was, to the point where Malik al-Maut needed to ask him before he can take his own life. He asked him, he said, yeah. He said, yeah, I'm ready to come if my Lord Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is ready for me to come. So Malik al-Maut, he takes Rasulullah's life on 632 AD. After that, Imam Ali alayhi salam and Abbas, not Abu Fadl al-Abbas, Abbas, a friend of Ali, wash up the body of Rasulullah. That's what some sources state. Some sources state that it was only Imam Ali alayhi salam. The stronger source is only Imam Ali alayhi salam. And during that time, they were developing the Saqifa la'natullah alayhun to take the Khilafah from Imam Ali alayhi salam, because Rasulullah Muhammad appointed Imam Ali alayhi salam as the Khalifa in Eid al-Ghadir. عزم الله لكم الأجر باستشهاد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم محمد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.